A very good morning and welcome to the 12th edition of IDEATE. We request President FICCI to please welcome our revered chief guest, Shri Vipin Kumar, with FICCI Green Certificate, an initiative under which trees for tigers are planted at Sundarbans National Park, West Bengal, India.
If we were to talk about foundational and life cycle interventions, adolescence is an important phase of life. This phase is especially important for adolescent girls as it sets the stage for their future. It's important to work with young adults to empower them to make informed choices, because going ahead, that is what will ensure that they stay on the right path. It's equally important, of course, to ensure their skill, education and health so that they're confident young individuals. There is therefore a need to address this holistically and not in silos, and this is where the concept of life cycle approach comes into play.
The government of India is talking about quality education, and I think that is a very important emphasis that the government has put on education. And so we want to continue to look at that. How do we help support the government's initiative on access to quality education for every child, no matter where she was born, no matter what his background? The second is looking at this link in skills in the 21st century and this digital transformation, access to digital knowledge, digital information, digital skills. And so making sure that we look at that connection for 21st century skills.
Education to a boy is to an individual. Education to a girl is to a family or to the generation. If I talk of especially the girls, the courses which we are providing, I think most of the courses are not relevant. Beauty, wellness, tailoring, etc. But NEP says it should be 21st century skills. The girls should also participate in the economy. For that, industry also should provide the opportunity of internship, because in our country, I think up to school education level, the concept of internship to the industry, by the industry, is very limited. While in other countries, it is not so. The target is that at least 50% girls who are passing out from 12th standard by 25-26 should be expert in one skill.
So, we are sitting in a room where we are talking about Mahatma Gandhi, who addressed at the 4th AGM of being the trustees and servants of poor. So as FICCI, we've been it's been our endeavor to really support the society in whichever way we can. And this is one such initiative of ours. So thank you once again for being here. And
Why do we need to look at adolescent girls differently, from a different lens than adolescent boys? It's because we bring up our daughters very differently from how we bring up our sons. Deepa Narayan, formerly of the World Bank, has a whole book on this, which is very simply called Chup, silence. Because that is how we bring up our daughters, even today, even in 21st century India, even when we're talking about empowerment and everything else. We know that we are battling a cultural mindset where we bring up our daughters, by and large. There are exceptions, of course. I'm not trying to say every girl is brought up the same way, but we bring up our daughters to not complain, to not talk too much.
I'm Anita Kujur from Odisha. From my childhood, my parents had a vision that they will provide me a good education, even though I am a girl child. My parents wanted to give me education because they did not want to see me struggling in sun and doing any labor work. They always used to tell me to study. Once I am something, I will not remember all the path through which I have come and not help others. I also want to help other children, those who are like me, so that they also can reach their goal. Really, I want to appreciate you all for your great work. Because of your support, many students have come up in life, and many are on the way to come up. I want to tell parents that they should guide their children and not leave them to do what they like. Children do not know what they have to do. They do not know the value of education, but parents know. So parents has to make them study, and parents have to show equality between girl child and boy child.
Everybody spoke about unlocking the economy and the benefits and the multiplier effect of getting girls into school. But as an organization, at our heart, we believe it's about equity. जो फायदे होने हैं बच्ची के स्कूल में होने से या औरतों के वर्कफोर्स ज्वाइन करने से, वो बाद की बात है, वो सब्सिक्वेंट चीज़ें हैं. Those should not necessarily be the be all end all goal for us. It's about equity, right? Why shouldn't girls be in school? Why shouldn't women be a part of our workforce? So for us, equity perhaps takes precedence over everything else, and that's how we operate.
I would like to say that digital with human intervention is a very strong tool for access to direct education and direct mentorship, which can solve many of the problem. And also, I have written it many times in my column and everywhere, digital is anti-patriarchal, but don't use it saying that, otherwise they will not allow.
In agri-allied activities in India, rural India I'll talk about, the 80% contribution and participation is of women. That's one statistics. The other statistics that we are talking about is about the workforce participation is 22% approximately. I find a mismatch. Coming to the skilling part of it, well, definitely the problem statement is there that there is a lack of skill set which is needed in the industry, and the supply in that regard, there is a gap in these two. However, there is one more fact. Women are 52% more employable, means you can capacitate them and they can be customized as per the requirement. So once they'll be having the skill set, they can also be contributing. So the skills access is required.
Male engagement is a very integral part of what UNICEF works on, because we really feel that without talking to men and boys and making them allies in the gender transformation work that we are doing, gender is about both genders. We need them as our supporters, and it's very important to discuss norms around masculinity. How do they see as being a man means? And if you look at mass media around us, it's promoting very aggressive and violent brand of masculinity. So how do we encourage dialogue between both genders and discuss the issues of masculinity around with boys? And UNICEF in fact works with looking at curriculum in schools, because this discussion needs to start at a very young age, in schools, also through media. And we work with Indian Advertising Association also to develop gender guidelines on how the TV that we watch, the movies that we see, constantly reinforcing patriarchal images, gender stereotypes, which we constantly need to address in our work.
Sure. Now we move forward to the most exciting round of this session, fireside chat.
The fact is that gender inequity across many segments robs our girls, and robs majority of our girls, I should say, of a level playing field. And therefore it is very, very important that we set the stage to support them and enable them to ignite potential in them. So Manya, can I start with you? So image of a mentor, man or woman?
There's no gender for me.
Excellent. Is mentoring a necessity, yes or no?
Yes.
Your experience with a mentor, happy or disappointing?
So much fun.
Okay. Your favorite mentor?
Me?
What are the 3 essential qualities that you look for in a mentor?
Comfortable space, good atmosphere, understanding.
Excellent. All right. Ashish, given your experience of working with young people, what are some of the specific challenges that girls face through the different, stages of their life, and how are you facilitating mentorship through the various models that you work in?
One is that there is despite going to college, despite doing well in school, there is still a skills deficit for girls. Right. Boys somehow, because of the mentoring that they get, the exposure that they get, are better prepared. So the skills deficit, I would say, is more limited for. It's not that it doesn't exist for boys; it's lower for boys. Second is the network deficit. Again, I think it's natural that boys are more exposed. They tend to be better connected. I think girls don't have the same networks as boys do.
Well, Ashish and Manya, thank you so much. This was a quick session. You all have highlighted several things that we need to address.